My name is Sharon Hearn-Smith and I'm the author of No Bake Baking. Together with Mummy Pages, I'm going to show you how to make my Sesame Snaps. They're a really nice sweet treat. They're really quick and easy to make, and if you can bear to part with them, they make a great festive gift for family and friends. So I'm going to start, it has 3 ingredients. The first one is sugar, which I have melting down in a pan on a really low heat. And before I tell you a bit more about that, I'm going to tell you about my sesame seeds, which is the next ingredient. I'm just going to pop them into a pan on the heat to toast them. I love sesame seeds, and particularly when they're toasted, it just brings out all of the natural oils, which brings out the natural flavour, and they create such a lovely aroma. So I'm just going to toast them lightly for a couple of minutes and just toss them about the pan to make sure they don't burn. And in the meantime, let me tell you about the sugar. So the sugar is just melting away, and if you can see it right now, it looks a nice amber colour. It's completely melted down. There's no kind of sugary, grainy, crystally bits in there. Now, lots of people get scared about working in sugar, and in a way, you should be a little bit. You need to be really careful because this is super, super hot. And sorry to tell you, but this recipe probably isn't one for getting the kids involved in the making, but of course they're going to love eating them. So just let the sugar melt down until it turns to this really nice amber colour. And once the sesame seeds are toasted, we're going to add them in with one more secret ingredient. So to melt the sugar down, it takes about 15 or 20 minutes to get to this really nice amber colour. So just have a little bit of patience, it will get there. And with the sesame seeds, I sometimes like to mix them up a little bit and add, you can actually buy black sesame seeds. You can pick them up in really nice delis, or Asian supermarkets tend to have them also. So you could kind of do half and half to mix it up. And sometimes I like to add some desiccated coconut. So I'll just take out some of the sesame seeds and replace the same weight with desiccated coconut. And now for my third and final secret ingredient, I love to use ginger, the spice, ground ginger in these. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in on top of that lovely melted sugar. And these sesame snaps always remind me of Christmas time at home, because my family and I always made them, and every year we'd use a different spice. You could use cinnamon, or I really like to use ground cardamom also. So just tip the toasted sesame seeds in on top, and then just be careful because the pan is really hot, no doubt also. Just swirl the whole thing around. Oh, the smell of the ginger is divine. Beautiful Christmas spiciness. Swirl it all around. And then I'm just going to tip it into my tin. So I have a tin all prepared, and it's lined with non-stick parchment paper. And I like to use my bulldog clips on either end to keep the paper in place. That's my top tip. So lift the pan over carefully. Make sure not to burn yourself. Like I said, this sugar is super hot, and obviously so is the pan. Actually, I should have said as well, if you would like to use a thermometer, a sugar thermometer, to make sure you've got the sugar melted to the right point, the temperature that it reaches is 160 degrees. But I don't tend to use it in this case. Once I know the colour is right, I'm happy. It's going to be good. So tip all of the mixture in there. And then you have to work quickly before the sugar sets in the cold tin. So I'm just going to swirl the mixture around. Again, I'm going to use a cloth on the tin because you'll be surprised how hot the tin gets from the heat of the sugar. Swirl it all around, right into the edges, into all of the corners, until it's nice and even. And then again, working quickly, I have an oiled knife that I'm just going to mark lines in the mixture, again, before it sets. And this just helps when it comes to serving time, that I can just snap them into little biscuit shapes. And then I'm just going to, so I've run 2 lines down the center, down the length, and now I'm just going to do lines across to make it into little individual shapes. So it will start to set really quickly. which is the great thing about it, because you'll be able to eat them really soon. There we go. And then all you have to do is leave them to sit for about 15 to 20 minutes until completely cool, and then we're ready to serve. So the Sesame Snaps are completely cold now and set hard. Let me show you. Just simply lift them out of the tin by the parchment paper. Look at those, look how shiny and goldeny they are. They look great. And then all you have to do, thanks to those lines, is just snap them. Let me show you. Oh, they're just snapping off already. Snap them into the little biscuity shapes. Yummy. Oh, and that smell of the sesame seeds and the ginger. This just reminds me so much of Christmas time. And like I said, if you can bear to part with these, they make fantastic edible gifts to give to people in little cute little foodie bags tied with ribbons and labels. People will be so happy to receive these. These make about 30 in total. And if you want to store them, make sure to store them in an airtight container and between sheets of parchment paper so they don't stick together. And they will last for at least 2 to 3 days. So there you go. They are my festive, gingery sesame snaps.